everybody, I'm Sarah and I'm a recorder player. Yes, today we are talking about how to play two recorders at the same time. Wait, what? Why? Believe it or not, playing two pipes at the same time has actually been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, way back to the medieval times and before, in many different cultures and countries. For example, I had to write some down because there were so many. We have the aulos from ancient Greece, and the tibia from the Roman times, and Mehmet from Arabic culture, and the Zumara from Northern Africa, and the Launadas from Sardinia, and these are just a few of them. A double recorder dating from the 15th, 16th century was also found in Oxford in England, and these were two pipes joined to one another and tuned in parallel fifths. Through medieval times, we also see a lot of double recorders represented in paintings. Iconography! Now, these could range from one pipe just being used for a drone and the other pipe used to play a melody. Or some slightly more advanced ones would have one pipe with 2 to 3 notes and the other with 5 to 6, and some actually had the full range on each. These two pipes would be tuned either a fourth or a fifth apart, so you could make your own accompaniment to the melodies you were playing. And today there are a lot of recorder builders that make modern versions of these medieval double pipes. For example, Francesco Li Virghi and Philippe Bolton, and this guy from New Zealand that doesn't have his name on his website but is called Wood and Bone. I also found a guy on YouTube called Pierre Amont, and he makes some really beautiful pieces with the medieval double recorder made by Li Virghi. Two recorders at the same time is used a lot in contemporary music. Composers love this, and of course, who wouldn't? It sounds great and it looks very impressive. The really well-known pieces that spring to mind are Ende by Louis Andriessen, Black Intention by Maki Ishii, and Ausser Atem by Moritz, Eggert. And these are all three completely different styles. There are many performances of these pieces all over YouTube, so just search for them and you'll find a lot of great examples. There are all kinds of reasons why composers like to use two recorders at the same time. You can literally play two separate melodies. You can create amazing chords. Now, I can go into this in another video, but when you play two recorders together, the interference of their sound waves can create a third note called a difference tone. So when you're playing two recorders together, you can actually be creating chords of 3 notes, and sometimes it's just born out of necessity. I play with a band called Jaboa, and we play with 2 recorder players. The other recorder player wasn't there, so I had to play her line at the same time, which gathers this. But how do you actually do it? Tip number 1, posture is everything. So when you're playing just one recorder, you have it down here, and ideally you're supporting it a lot with this thumb, meaning that the fingers that actually have to move are very free to do so. However, when you play with 2, suddenly this hand is needed to support and to move. How do we cope with this? Let's start off small. We're going to grab 2 sopranos. My tip is to keep the recorders high up. If you're down here, then the recorders are going to keep wanting to fall. We're actually having to support the recorders with our thumbs, which are also going to be moving. That means the balance is going to be shifting a lot. By keeping the recorders up, you're better balanced. I find it helps to support with my little finger. Now, it might take a bit of time to get used to this new hand position. It's not the most convenient, but if you're going to be playing notes with the D and the C sharp, this is necessary. If you're not going to be playing those notes and your thumb isn't going to be moving, that's even better. You can let your little fingers free. But if you need to go higher, your little finger is going to have to come underneath and support. Let your mouth help with the balance, but not by tensing up. A common complaint when people first start working with 2 recorders is that they're getting a lot of tension in their mouth and in their jaw because they're trying to hang on to the recorders like everything here should be really relaxed. Another thing that helps for the balance is where do you put your recorders? If you try and put them like this, they're not going to fit in your mouth. I find it helps to fit both comfortably in my mouth by putting them actually in at the corners, so they're actually at right angles to each other. Notice how my mouth is completely relaxed. Keep making sure everything is really relaxed. For me, that is the most comfortable. I find it helps when tuning the two recorders to pick the same fingering. If you have the same instrument, you'll then have the same note. If not, you'll probably have a fifth or a fourth, depending on which instruments you've chosen. Now I can hear in the air, so it's not in tune. I'm going to slightly shade the note below. That's worse. That's better. When I shaded this instrument, it sounded better, which means this instrument has to be lower. So I'll pull it out. Oh yeah, range. What notes can you actually play? It's not only... You can make a lot of extra notes by opening the holes halfway, and you can also use your fourth finger to make a kind of F sharp. I'm just going to show you those. We have F sharp, G, G sharp, half hole, A, B flat, you can shade with the middle finger, B, C, C sharp, D, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, maybe you even get a B. Practice time. How do you actually do this? The first thing I would try is playing the recorders separately but in the right position. Then you're going to be getting used to the balance. You could try some short scales. And then start trying with some jumps. Next, try these with both recorders at the same time, but your fingers are doing the same thing as each other. The path to making your hands independent of one another. Now, piano players will probably be laughing at me for this. It's not that easy to suddenly play two separate melodies at the same time. Let's start off by making a drone with one hand. One hand is not going to change, and on the other, you're going to play a nice melody. Two notes with the drone hand, and like every 2 bars you're going to change the drone. If that's going well, you can gradually shorten the amount of time that you change this. Try something different, moving the fingers in contrary motion. When this hand plays A, this hand will play B. After this, maybe it's nice to tackle some musical examples. I found a great resource for this, an instrument builder from New Zealand. I can't actually find his real name on his website, but the website is called Wood and Bone. He has arranged around 25 medieval and Renaissance pieces for 2 recorders, and they are fantastic, so hit the link up here. And another great resource with a lot of exercises for practicing this is by Lucia Mense, and she is a German recorder player that I actually know for her contemporary music, but she does a lot of great stuff with medieval music as well. And she has written a resource for practicing 2 recorders, and it's in French, English, German and Italian. So what more do you want? I am going to take you through how I will begin to practice Ende by Louis Andriessen. I would say this is a great piece for people wanting to play their first piece with 2 recorders at the same time. It has a lot of repetition, it builds up slowly, and it's quite impressive in the end. What I want to do is make one hand completely automatic before I add the other. When you are learning 2 recorders at the same time, the most important thing is muscle memory. The right hand has this 4 times. and the left hand has. Let's get my right hand. Okay, I could go on for hours like that. Now I'm going to add the first note of my left hand, which is. And when my right hand goes to the E, my left hand goes down to the D. I'm going to try this really slowly. Going slow is the key, even if you have to do. Stop, recollect, repeat. Stop, recollect, repeat. So that's the first point, and then what do we get after that? Okay. Oh, and this is nice. The left hand just stays on the E. But let's try and put them together. So we have 4 times this contrary motion, and then 1 time. Okay. So that's the way I would do it. I would take a short passage, make it completely automatic with one hand. Then while you're playing this one, add the first note of the other hand, add the next note, add the next note. I would also practice each hand separately so that you can really listen to it. Listen to your breath pressure, listen to your articulation, and listen to the tuning. If you have a piece where both hands are playing something completely different, in different rhythms, different melodies, yes, this is a big headache. But I would go about it the same way. Go note by note, really feeling each movement. You understand that this note comes and this note comes step by step, and you will get there. Thank you for watching my video on how to play 2 recorders at the same time. I hope you found it vaguely useful. If you find other resources, builders, repertoire pieces, please tell me about them in the comments. Something for the future, I am currently working on a video for recorder methods for adult beginners. If you have one that you have really been enjoying, please tell me about that as well, because then I will check it out and maybe include this in the video. As always, please subscribe to my channel. You can do that by clicking me. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye!